Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast. For today, we are talking WCW Saturday Night on TBS from June the 8th, 1991. And before I throw it to Doc, I want to give a special shout out to our largest page contributors monthly. Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Mike Childress, Joe Ice, and good old Justin. Thank you for your generous support and being the sponsors of this show. And Doc, we are recording this only basically 2.5 days after we've recorded our last show. So with that said, I do have one new patron. His name is Kyle E. Thanks for signing up and going annual, Kyle. It is greatly appreciated. Doc, like I just said, 3 days after our last episode. So how are you? I don't know how many flips and dives we got this morning.
Well, I'm excited to be. I'm excited to be here in what is quite possibly the most exciting two-man booth in all of wrestling. Better than any two-man booth that's ever existed. Feeling blessed as always. And I feel like I need to go on record with something here today.
Uh-oh. Well, you want to tell the people why Harper's not here before you...
Well, that's yeah, I'm going to get into that.
Okay, go ahead.
We're recording on a Friday morning, like Mike said, a little early. I want to go on record here because it's supposed to get a little, we're not going to talk about the weather like, oh my God, it's the weather. But if we die today, we should let people know that we saw it coming.
Yeah, there's some nasty stuff coming.
What?
I was saying there's some nasty stuff about to hit us.
Yeah, so it's the first week of November, and we're all getting in the Christmas spirit.
Jesus Christ, the tree's up. I told my wife that. She was like, what the fuck? White people.
Anyway, that seems a little rude. But it was 80 degrees yesterday. And we have some severe weather rolling through up to and including tornado threats.
Yeah.
So if it hits, and it feels like you sometimes when you live in this part of the country, you go outside and you're like, yeah, it's going to hit. I feel like it's going to hit. And I've lived here long enough to know the difference between two poots and grab your ankles. So we might be ducking for cover later today. We're getting this out early in the morning so we can get out in the community, run our errands, shake some hands, see the people, and then get back home and prepare for the worst.
Yeah, man.
Now,
it's
where's Harper? Well, we had such an overwhelming response from the patrons about having Harper join us for Super Brawl that we've decided to recreate the magic as only we can. And so we're recording the Saturday night episode without him because next Tuesday night on normal recording night, we're going to cover Knoxville, USA, the Clash of the Champions, Ric Flair, Bobby Eaton, 2 out of 3 falls, so many other great matches, just coming to an arena near you, or unless you live in Knoxville, Tennessee, I guess not. But anyway, Harper's ready. He's ready to watch some percentage of the show prior and to make the patrons pants excited over his analysis of the action.
Some percentage of the show. If there was,
well,
let me tell you something. You tell a lot of stories on this show, and I'm not saying you're lying when you're on this show, but there are a lot of flips and dives.
Way past 11.
Again, it's not lies, but you have a lot of fun, and so do I. But there has never been a truer goddamn statement that you've uttered on this show than that. Some percentage of the show.
And we won't have any clue until he tells us. And even then, he may say something like, yeah, I watched it. And then you have to ask like a follow-up question to get him to open up and, well, I skipped a few matches. Well, how many? Well, I only watched Flair and Eaton. Oh, okay. And it's not that I care. It's that I need to know how to engage with him on the air.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified it to that point. You need to know how to engage him, because if you don't know what he's watched, it's like you ask him his opinion. He's like, it was fine. You're like, okay, so you didn't watch it.
So I'm not going to
Well,
ask him about the action unless something egregious happens on the video. We're going to talk about, whatever it is that he wants to segue into, and we'll just roll with it. I mean, that's you don't redirect a river. You can slightly alter its course, but you don't, you got to go with it.
bro, you was killing me when he was talking about the Halloween movies the other night. You was like, what's with him in the Halloween movies?
Motherfucking
What's going on?
Siskel and Ebert over here getting his woman to watch the worst movies of all time. You know she's got to be like, Chris, what are we doing? No, just watch this one. Ugh.
She made him watch a whole movie. That's what he's doing when he's not watching wrestling.
Yeah, it's like he's telling on himself left and right. He's like, I bet your girl would rather watch this 91 wrestling than this C-level movie.
Oh,
But,
boy.
hey, we can't all be Harper. So if you're not a patron, guaranteed fun. We do cover those big cards a little bit more seriously because, we try to give it the respect it deserves. But there's also shenanigans.
Yeah.
So if you're not a patron, become one or do something or sign up or stop being.
tinyurl.com/Patreon
Yeah.
BTT, and there's that.
I mean, the people who are patrons are all over Twitter and they're out there saying, hey, it's the best value in all of wrestling. It's the best value in podcasts. You get your money's worth. We're throwing shit up there. And I don't know what else to tell you other than you need to sign up. The time is now.
I don't think I ever told you this. You saw Mikey and DFW one time was talking about some podcast that I guess his wife listens to or something,
Uh-oh.
and so he was, I guess, listening to one of our patron shows, and or she saw him downloading something or something. She's like, well, what's all that? So she like saw our patron page, and she was like, wait, you get all that for $5? He's like, yeah, you get the video, you get the clashes, you get the pay-per-views, world class, ECW, NW. He's like, a lot of times I'm struggling to keep up with it all. And she was like, well, on this other podcast, you got to pay $30 a month to get basically kind of like almost the same thing with all that. And he was like, excuse me, $30? That's what it was. She asked him, hey, what's this $5 Patreon charge? I guess on the bank statement or whatever. And I mean, she knew about it, but she just was curious. She wasn't like fussing. She was just trying to figure out, what it was. And she was like, man, all these patrons that, these pods I listen to, they're charging $40 to get all that,
And I
And
guarantee you, Mikey was like, man, should I really spend that money for? Oh, it's the boys though. I should probably get that. But like
nah, he wasn't like that.
he's probably got like holes in his underwear, and he don't want to go buy
No,
something.
he don't.
He's afraid of what his wife is spending all the money on, and like think about it. Who's got the nicer car in the family? Why do the women always get the nicer stuff? What they do to deserve it?
The power of the taco.
You've been down on the. You've been. I mean, not all women here. We're gonna, but you're kind of mad at the females right now, aren't you? A
I
little
ain't mad. I ain't mad. All right, enough of that.
You told me
tinyurl.com/Patreon
earlier that
BTT.
if God hadn't split them with a hatchet between their legs, that you wouldn't have any interest.
Why are you gonna lie to these people like that?
It's a show. It's
Oh.
it's it's entertainment.
Oh,
None
okay. So,
none of this is real,
it's all a work. I got you. Okay.
except the part that is real.
Exactly. You sound like a wrestler now. At tinyurl.com/Patreon
You
BTT.
decide.
It's all a work until they try to tell you it's real, and then they don't understand why you don't believe them when they tell you it's real. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. Get access to tons of Patreon content, including the Clash that is coming up day after this drops.
If we don't lose
Doc,
power today, I'm gonna watch it.
God, don't scare me like that. Doc, you got a 5-star review, or what else you got before we
I
jump
do.
into
We have
Saturday
one
night?
from a gentleman that's called Blessed and a Blessing,
Blessed and a blessing. All right.
and misspelled blessing.
Well, that's that's great.
And now that I'm looking at it, misspelled blessed because I have my readers on. There's 3 S's in blessed and 1 in blessing. That sounds like a listener of ours.
Wonderful.
Could be from Harper.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Simply the best. You're simply the best. You like that Tina Turner song?
It was fine.
Okay. Other than Mike's incessant disrespect of the greatest NWA champ of all time, always wanting to fight Triple H, and his shameless, if you know, hatred of White Lightning, this is the greatest podcast of all time.
That sounds great. I see nothing wrong with what he said.
Well, I mean, the spelling is a problem. I can't. I like things to be spelled correctly, as you've heard from the No K Rick and Arnie Anderson. But whatever. Thank you for sending that in. Next time, let's get some spell check on the case.
Jesus. Doc, you know, it just crossed my mind. I don't know.
Well,
why.
you know this stuff is going to be read on the air. We don't make that a secret. And we're pretty consistent about when we see them, we make it happen. And you come in here sloppy with misspellings, and I just
Stop it. So here's the thing. If you want your 5-star review read on air, just submit one to Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict, and it will be read on air. We're recording this one a little bit further out than normal, so if you've left one within the last 2.5 weeks and it has not been read on air, that's why. And something else just popped me, Doc. I think it was 2 weeks ago on the show, you said something like, for those of you who think that I'm an idiot half the time, you sure want a lot of shit from me. I don't know why, but I was chuckling just now, just listening to you read that. I don't know why that popped into my mind. You know how sometimes random stuff pops into your mind, you're just walking through the house and you chuckle and your wife's like, what are you laughing at? Like, you wouldn't get it. I just had one of those moments.
Okay.
Just wanted to point that out. Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
What other flips and dives you got?
Man, I think it's time that it's never going to be as long when you don't have Harper misdirection. I think it's time that we talk about this wrestling. This is the go home show for the Clash of Champions. We feels like, we're off the heels of Super Brawl, and let's get to the Clash, man. I'm ready.
You just said something. He is like a fucking child. He has no attention span. Do you notice like how he will be in the middle of talking about something and the video is being played and he just his own topic he pivots from. Do you ever notice that? He's like, wait, I got a story, and he starts talking about it. And then you start responding to it and he sees a commercial playing. And it's out of sight, out of mind. It's the same thing as when he says, wait. Well, I have a question about this. What happened to such and such? And then I'm like, well, send that to Harper. No, I got Google. Well, motherfucker, you just asked what happened to it. So do you really want to know or you just don't want to know? It's probably 3-year-old. Actually, your youngest has a better attention span.
But we love him all the same.
Yeah, that I'm
don't make it twisted. We miss him today.
Yes. I'm not trying to cut a promo. Okay. Well, Doc, so again, this is, what did I say? June 8th? The June 8th episode of Saturday Night on TBS. And let me scroll through my notes as my computer's locking up again. Oh boy, here we go.
Oh Jesus.
Mm-hmm. This can't be right, but maybe it is, because the show, according to the history of WWE.com, they used to do this in Smoky Mountain Wrestling all the time. Just like the last 2 weeks, it says this show was taped May 13th of 91 in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the Cumberland County Civic Center. So I think that's what's going on here. It seems like a third taping, which we usually only do 2, but hell, they did this in Smoky. Sometimes they'd even shoehorn a 4th one in. The intro is the York Foundation in Alexander York. She says she knows everyone is waiting to hear the news about who the newest member of the York Foundation will be. This person has signed their contract, but you're going to have to become a... What? Okay, can I finish and then?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to have to become a patron to find out who the new member will be, since it will be announced at the Clash. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. You told me to press pause on the video, so what are we pressing pause for?
Look at that merch.
Yeah, what does that say? The Stomp Collection?
Yeah, we got some trading cards.
Somebody shared this in Facebook a while back, the cards or some of the cards.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Glad we didn't have any merch prior to EB coming in.
You are down on Bischoff lately, man. You're very much down on him.
You're just liking him because he sliced up Meltzer in the digital platforms.
Well, yeah. So he had. They had an episode. Hold on. They had an episode on. Him and Connie did an episode on Sullivan, so that kind of piqued my interest. I wanted to hear what he had to say about Sullivan, and for the first hour, it's Bischoff really dropping some truth bombs on Meltzer and his quote unquote reporting, and he basically, I forget what he called Meltzer, but he doesn't like him. He thinks he's full of shit, and I tend to agree.
All right.
Now let's move
talk
on.
about other podcasts. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Look at Missy. God Almighty.
So after the intro, we go to JR Missy, who Missy looks great. Let's be real. JR Missy say they heard Paulie has been begging Dan Bynum for his segment back. Doc, any thoughts on the opening with JR and Missy besides Missy?
No.
She's looking good, man. Boy, can you imagine Harper right now? He'd have creamed him.
Can you imagine that people were trying to tell her she was fat?
I don't get that. That's like, I don't get. That's so stupid. I'm like, there's no, she don't have no fat on her. Well, we all got fat on us. I mean, your skin is, but come on. So we keep moving and we go to the first match. This was only a 1 hour episode of Saturday Night. Yeah, A+ already from the start. We go to the first match. It is Steve Austin versus Keith Hart. And again, whenever you have these quick 1 hour episodes, you can really tell that they book it differently because the matches are super duper quick. Super duper quick. And that was no difference here. Austin, my notes, he still looks like a star. This might be Vivacious Veronica's last week.
He needs an upgrade.
Remember. But I think this might be her last week. Anyway,
she
Doc,
looks like the kind of girl that back in the day, if you were drunk, you'd be like, well, I guess. He needs somebody that's white hot.
Dude, she's not an I guess. No. She's attractive. I can't believe you would say that. I think that I'm going to talk about this more when the other valet manager comes in. I think they said he just didn't have chemistry with her.
Yeah.
Vivacious Veronica. But, So, Doc, any thoughts on Austin here as he's going to make quick work of Keith Hart?
He's a little green, but it's there, man.
Everything he does, it looks like he does with a purpose. It's not wasting time. He just looks good. But again, it's easy for us to say that.
He has it.
It's easy for us to have that discussion now to say, oh, we see it. Well, did we back then? Anyway. So this thing's going to finish off. Austin's going to hit him with that spinning hot shot and then a big lariat for the win. I kind of like how he's reinvented the hot shot where he almost picks him up like it's going to be a spine buster, but he then turns and drops the guy onto the ropes.
It looks kind of dangerous.
It's vicious looking. I guarantee you, though, if you would talk to Austin today, he would say there was no need for me to do that spinning lariat after.
Nope, that was extra.
Because, well, here's the thing. That, like, the hot shot is basically a finisher if you really watch it. And the guy's out. So I always would hear like wrestling trainers. I've heard Rip Rogers say this a lot. I've heard others say it a lot. Okay, if the guy's out right here, go for the pin. Why are you picking him up? And I'm not criticizing Austin. That's why I say I bet you if you asked Austin now, he would say, "Yeah, I didn't need to pick him up and deliver the lariat. I should have just pinned him." Nonetheless, Austin looks great, and he's stacking some wins, man. This is what you do. You know what I'm saying? You stack some wins, and that's exactly what's happening here. Now, you said the hot shot looks dangerous. Why do you feel that way?
It's just there's an extra component to like turning around and hanging somebody on the ropes,
dropping them.
Yeah, but I want to get to 10 minutes and 23 seconds.
All right, so I'm gonna fast forward it shortly. As I'm doing that, we do get a promo package, which is what Doc is talking about here, where we got the Clash. Paul Lee is leading this promo package for the Clash 15. He goes through the entire lineup: Flair versus Eaton, Luger versus Muta in a number one contender match for the world title, Sting versus Nikita, Pillman and Elegante versus Barry Windham and Arn. Loser leaves town in that one. And then we also have the greatest NWA champion of all time, Tommy Rich versus Oz. And they really plug Flair, Eaton and Flair again with the replays from Flair and Eaton like they did last week. There's a quick promo from Bobby Eaton, and they plug the 2 out of 3 falls match. And then we see some Sting and Muta clips in here. You said 10 what, Doc?
10:23.
All right, let's see.
And then can you read that?
Alka-Seltzer plus cold medicine. When you gotta get relief, you gotta explain it for the people who aren't patrons. That way they can go become patrons and listen to that episode.
Alka-Seltzer does a lot more than I thought it did.
You gotta explain it. You gotta just explain what happened, and then we did a whole show on Abducted in Plain Sight, the Netflix.
So there was this terrible documentary called Abducted in Plain Sight that chronicles the story of the dumbest white people that ever lived.
That was some white people stuff, man.
That was some white people. Well, I'll claim that one. That was some. Those were our people, and it was a problem. And anyway, there was a grown man who asked another grown man in the car that he was backed up and needed some hand relief. And it's just kid stuff. Come on. It's just kid stuff. And then this fool reached over and provided the relief, if you will.
He cranked off his friend who was banging his wife and daughter.
Come on, it's too stupid.
So sad. It's so pathetic.
Well, it is, and it is. It's just, but we chronicled the entire.
Oh, Bob, it's just kid stuff.
We chronicled the entire documentary, which is far more insane than we even made it sound just now. On the patron feed a while back, a few years ago. Tiny URL, suck it. And
tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT.
Yeah. And so the word relief has taken on a new meaning in the BTT community.
That dude told his friend, my wife isn't giving me none. I'm stressed. I got anxiety. He said, "Oh, Bob, can you give me some relief?" And he was like, "What?" And then the guy says, "It's just kid stuff." And he cranked off this dude. Bruh, no. Look, man, if that's what you like, I'm not judging you. This is a totally different discussion. This has nothing to do with people who like that type of thing. This is a dude who this man was screwing his wife and daughter. And we'll move on. Oh, boy.
I need some relief after that.
Oh, okay.
Can you come over?
No. In the words of Hardbody Harper, that's not the first time he did that.
That's true.
Let's keep going. We have Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton here. Doc, neither Bobby nor Arn are wearing the title to the ring.
Who's the champ here?
The champion is Bobby We know that from the pay-per-view, but remember, this was taped before the pay-per-view. So once again, because we're in the third week of this taping, Bobby can't come to the ring with the title, nor can Arn, because they would have been giving away spoilers to the live audience that was there that day. So that said, we are told Bobby is the champion, and there's the Chiron says Bobby's the champion. JR even says Bobby's trying to retain the title. So I took that as, they're definitely voicing this over after the pay-per-view, which might answer my question from last week that I think they were piping in some noise. And I think you even brought it up to the week prior. But anyway, thoughts on this match?
Rick's out, and his hair is just awful.
Because he's got that part on the left side.
Yes, this may be Herd's greatest crime.
I don't know, bro. There's so many crimes. If you think about the nice spine buster there, boy, you planted Bobby. There's so many crimes, but I hear you.
There's an early early spine buster where it was like, is he gonna finish this thing quickly? And he also later then puts on Arn puts on a wonderful DDT.
I think I got the timestamp from that. I think that was near the end, and it is great. It really looked good. What else, Doc?
Well, we'll wait and let you get to the finish because, I mean, again, these two guys are not going to have a bad match unless the power goes out in the building. So it was a joy.
So here it comes, the finish. So Bobby catches Arn with a couple big boots in the corner, if you're watching on Patreon. Clothesline, lariat by Bobby. Arn is then going to hit Bobby with a DDT, but Bobby is going to get his foot on the ropes. Like Doc mentioned a little while ago, there's the DDT. Bobby rolls over. Flair, like Doc mentioned a little while ago, Flair is out there, and he isn't happy. Arn goes to the top, but Bobby falls into the ropes, and Arn takes a nut shot as he falls off the ropes. Flair senses the end of it when Arn takes the nut shot, so Flair hits the ring and goes after Bobby. Bobby sends Flair over the top rope. Bobby follows him on the outside. Then they're back inside and brawling. And Flair is like a rabid dog on Bobby at that point. It takes 3 refs to get Flair off of Bobby. Flair hits Bobby in the head with one of his shoes, alligators, whatever you want to call it. We got a DQ here, basically. You kind of knew there wasn't. I mean, based on the fact that we knew Bobby had already won the title, they taped this before Bobby won the title. You had to imagine they weren't going to do anything weird here, like clean finish. So this was what it kind of needed to be, and that was kind of, my thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying? And then, Flair's taking on Eaton, so I don't know, I guess they could have took the title back off of Eaton, but they just weren't going to at this point. So, I don't know, Doc, what did you think? It was a good match overall, but what did you think about the finish and anything else? Any other comments?
If I'm Arn, I got heat.
With Flair?
Yeah, why'd you cost me the TV title, bro?
And my thought is, the logic is, well, Flair sensed Arn was going to lose again, and maybe that's why he did that. The other thing, too, is Flair knows, or they're trying to set it up that, there's this match coming up at the Clash tomorrow, so we got to do something where Flair appears to damage Bobby, maybe, send them hurt going into that match. Like, that's the other side of it. But I hear you. I mean, yeah, if you're Arn, you're like, what are you doing, man? You cost me a shot at the title. I wasn't going to lose because the heel's never going to lose, right? They would think that.
Right.
I'm with you. All right. Any other thoughts on it?
No, I mean, I am looking forward to Eaton and Flair at the Clash.
Here we got another Alka-Seltzer commercial. A different
fast
take on
relief. I need fast relief, bro.
Jesus Christ.
I ain't got a bunch of time to wait around. I'm already got a semi. I need some fast relief.
You think Alka-Seltzer 31 years ago could have ever imagined that a couple or trio of outlaw mud show podcasters would discuss their motto, slogan, tagline needing relief or fast relief in this context?
They should have. You got to be aware of everything in business.
Be prepared.
You got to be prepared. You got to have contingency plans. Look, I'll help them out a little bit here because we're disparaging their brand, and that's unfortunate that they've been caught up in this terrible story from this terrible documentary. Man, I got to tell you, when I have the sniffles, when I'm down with a cold, that Alka-Seltzer, it's not for the stomach, but the Alka-Seltzer cold shit, that's the shit I turn to, man. It works. So, we don't do ads on this show, but I feel like we need to help them out a little bit since we're making fun of them. That's the shit I use, man.
Let's be clear. We weren't making fun of the product either. We were just making fun of the word relief based on context
Yeah,
and
you
today.
can't use that. I mean, remember the Rolex relief guy when it was the reliever of the year? That has a whole other connotation now from baseball, man.
Oh God.
Now I got a picture instead of some guy coming out of the bullpen. I picture some dude down in the dugout, both hands full, working it out.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna go down to the dugout with Jim Smith, the Rolex reliever of the year, and he's just double timing on two dudes.
This is the point when the the first time listener is like, I tuned in for wrestling, not relief talk. Sorry, bud, but abducted in plain sight happened. You
Well,
can't avoid it.
if that's the case, then you need to go back and listen to the full body of work that we've put out there, and
Preach.
or go fuck yourself.
Bro, you know something? I gotta shout this guy out because I always forget to do it. Best Dave ever on Twitter. He's a real good dude.
What he do?
Really nice guy.
What he do?
Bro, I gotta give him credit. He drives a bus.
Oh,
Not like a city bus. I think like a traveling type bus.
oh, for like old people or
Not like I've seen a picture of it. So and my apologies, Dave, if
like
I'm
a
not
charter bus. You're saying?
Yeah, I think so. So he's on like he does a lot of driving. And
But you got
Dave,
some old granny who's like, when are we gonna stop at the Stuckies? Bitch, get your blue hair to the back.
first off, Dave's a brother, and I don't know if he's gonna talk to an old person like that, old white lady at that. But
Miss Daisy, I'm driving your ass. Ain't that enough?
Dave's a good dude. Always
So best
just
Dave
a real,
ever
real nice guy.
is black.
He's a brother, and he drives. And I don't know if Dave's around our age or a little younger, but that's not important to the story. But I will tell you this: big classic wrestling fan. Obviously, he's a patron as well, Hall of Fame patron. Dave drives a bus, so he has a lot of time to listen to podcasts. Dave doesn't go listen to 40 million podcasts. Dave, according to what I've seen on Twitter and Facebook, he has probably listened to our back catalog of Smoky Mountain, and he'll binge it, and he's done it like 2 to 3 times. So he's gone through it all, and then he'll go back and start at episode 1 and relive it. And he'll do that. He's done the same with the NWA/WCW shows over the years. He'll go back to 85 and 86, and he'll like tweet things to me. He's like, bro, do you remember? And
No.
I half the time I don't. Half the time I hate to say I don't even remember. I don't remember the discussion points, but he'll remind me and I'll laugh.
So
but let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go. I'm just saying he will go back and so I'm saying that because you said go back and listen to all the old stuff. We actually have listeners like Dave. He's not the only one. He's just the one I'm thinking of now that do that. Bobby Murray's another one.
They're the Darkaholic Spotlight of the Week, both of them.
That's right.
For the first couple of years, I listened to our shows, and you were like, "You're a mark for yourself," and it wasn't. It was because I was trying to figure out how you do this better, and because anybody, I mean, yes, we just hit the red light and go, but there's a way to do this that's better than the other ways to do this. And I can't explain it well, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
As much as we don't prepare, that was your preparation.
It kind of, yeah. But I haven't listened to our show in at least 4 years. So I have no idea. I mean, you've said this. I'm about as bad as Harper. When we turn off today, you be like, dude, what were you thinking when you said, Alka-Seltzer Relief? And I'll be like, what? What are you talking about? Mavericks play tonight. We're going to talk about that?
We got a multiracial host, and that's a problem in itself. You didn't even remember saying that.
No.
I was like, dude, do you realize what you said? You're like, I said that? Yes. And that was 3 days after you said it when I told you. You're like, I said that? I was like, oh my God, he was really drunk that day. Okay, continue.
That's all. I'm looking at Missy. Hi, Missy.
Yeah,
Missy.
So best Dave ever, Bobby Murray, the guys who do that. I thank you. It's just more downloads, and I'm glad you love us that much. So yeah, and Bobby and best Dave ever are both BTT Hall of Famers. So there you go. All right, yeah, we got to go to Missy now because Johnny B. Bad and Teddy Long are going to come out.
Ugh.
And this is tremendous. This is so good. Oh God, I'll talk about it after. Here it is.
To World Championship Wrestling, and I'm Missy Hyatt. And now it is my pleasure to present the original Gangster of Love, Theodore R. Long and Johnny B. Bad.
Okay, so I had to pause it because of the audio, and I don't want to get a strike on that digital platform. But we're going to talk about it in a second. I love it because Mark Merrow put his whole goddamn foot into this gimmick. Like he sold himself to it. He's like, all right, you want me to do it? I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Look at him. I didn't realize this when I was watching it back then. Look at him. The mannerisms, everything. I could just see Dusty back there coaching him on how to do it. Dusty did all this. I guarantee you Dusty was out there with him the whole time. Like, all right, baby, let me tell you something. This how you going to do this time, all right? And he went for it. How do you not like this, Doc? May I ask that?
It's clunky, and I don't like when it's almost over, and then he like has to say the same. He has to get some words in, but it's just hush, Teddy.
I think he's still trying to find himself too with it. This is still new to him. This gimmick, and he's trying to find his pace. He's trying to find his spots. We know Teddy. I mean, think about the dynamics of it. I don't think Merrow at this point. I mean, he's still new to the business. You know, he was an enhancement talent for one when he came in, and now Teddy's out there, and we know Teddy's a talker. Teddy can talk. Teddy's found himself over the last few years with everything he's done, and I think he's trying to pick his spots while allowing Teddy to get him over and to talk. Okay. So I think that's part of it too. But let's go now. I hear you.
I don't have to enjoy it.
The audio's I think the music's finished playing. So let's go to Missy now, who's talking to Teddy.
Mr. Long, where did you find him? And I gotta ask you a question. What are those things around his leg?
Well, let me say something to you, little mama. Where I found him at is for me to know and for you to find out. And these pretty things around his legs are to protect his beautiful knees. All right, baby?
Well, I just want to touch him.
Hey, let me say something to you, Mr. Hyde. That's one thing homie don't play. Don't put your hands on it. Now, Johnny, baby, come over here and tell him why you so beautiful, baby.
Oh, hush, Teddy.
And tell him why you so pretty, Johnny.
I'm so pretty, I should have been born a little girl.
And tell him why you wasn't born a little girl, Johnny.
Oh, hush, Teddy. You know I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man.
Oh. Did you hear that? He's a bad man.
Oh, hush, Teddy.
And she's a bad announcer. All right, come on. And Missy, don't you worry about a thing.
Oh, Missy, what kind of fragrance is that? Teddy, we must get it. It is beautiful.
You want us to buy some of that, Johnny? You like the way she smells? You like what she's wearing?
I love it. It's so pretty.
Well, baby, I'll get some of that for you. Okay, baby? Don't worry about a thing, all right? Missy,
Okay.
anything Anything else you want to talk to the beautiful Johnny B. Bad about, baby?
No. That's okay.
Missy, repeat after me. I got a message for all the women in the world I can't achieve without my weave. All right, I'm gone.
And we'll be back with more wrestling action. But first, let's listen to this.
Boy, Teddy Long was on some extra shit right there. Let me tell you something.
Did he make a knee pad joke about Johnny B. Bad?
That's what it was like undercover, but that's kind of how I felt.
Oh, hush is the new good God. It's overused.
Okay, I gotta talk about. Look, Johnny B. Bad. Something else here. Teddy Long is ridiculous. Let me tell you, she's asking him about Johnny B. Bad. Let me tell you something, little mama. Where I found him is for me to know and you to find out. Well, she just asked you. So that's what she's trying to do, Teddy. Missy can't. She's breaking character. I mean, she's laughing, not uncontrollably. She's like, Jesus, this is ridiculous. And Johnny loves the way Missy smells. Johnny's so beautiful. He should have been born a little girl, as he said. And then Teddy with the last line, I can't achieve without my weave. I came unglued, dude.
I guess.
You don't like this?
No.
Bro, he's getting heat, man. He is being portrayed as a black man in the South that is gay. That's heat. And I know people today would say wrong kind of heat. You can't do that. Okay.
No, here's the thing. No, I just don't think he's an interesting character right now. Now, again, we're going to get into later on the DDP, Johnny B. Bad. There's something there. It may go somewhere. Again, you got to remember, I don't remember any of this. At this point in the gimmick, it's not working for me. I reserve the right to change my mind.
Fair point. We move the show along and we go to the next match. It is Black Blood with an axe again in Sullivan versus Mike Maverick, who looks like deer in the headlights out there.
That fella looks like he ought to be like in studying finance at the college. What's your major, Mike? Well, I'm studying business.
Yeah. He looks like he should be in college somewhere, not in the wrestling ring. Maybe he was a college student. We don't know that. Okay.
Sullivan's a mess, dude.
What part of him? I mean, the thing around his neck, the hair, the
fried hair sticking straight up with a balding spot, but he's got that black paint on his chest.
Yeah.
Dribbled and drabbed.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you got Black Blood. I mean, you're down on him, but everybody else seems to like it.
The problem is, and this is the problem of watching 30-year-old wrestling that we encounter all the time. We know the outcome of such things, and I'm not even getting into Billy Jack just being a complete lunatic. I'm getting to the fact of, like, this doesn't go anywhere. Him in this.
Well, let me ask you this. This guy
it doesn't help when you have a fucking axe. That's like bringing out the sledgehammer. So okay.
But the other point there is this guy has been an issue almost everywhere he's been. And he has a reputation for not staying anywhere, for being an issue, a problem while he's there. Why would you put anything behind him?
Maybe that's why they put the mask on him. I think you just answered that question.
Okay.
But we won't, because the internet back then, it's not like you look him up and know who the hell he is. Although I'm sure the dirt sheets, there were people who read those, but they're the smaller population of fans.
Sure.
So the average fan didn't know. But yeah, maybe that's why they put the gimmick on him.
Maybe it is.
So there you go, dude. You figured it out.
I figure everything out if you give me a long enough amount of time.
For you people who think Doc is dumb, they sure want a lot from. No, I'm kidding. Paul Lee gets real on commentary during this match, Doc. He gets real, like real. He mentions for months that they've been dancing around this issue with Missy and Jason Hervey. Dusty, he says Dusty Rhodes, Dan Bynum, and everyone is avoiding the issue. Paulie says, I want a segment with Hervey to ask him the hard-hitting questions. Now, the match is boring. This is going on. But Paulie and Jim Ross are the more entertaining thing here as Black Blood wins. Dude, when he says hard-hitting, just remember that choice of words. I'm going to leave it at that. Somebody's going to get potatoed eventually. And it might be, I'm just going to leave this name out there. When I say potato, will it be Missy? Will it be Paulie? Will it be Dusty? Will it be Jason Hervey? Will it be Dan Bynum? I'm just saying.
I hope it's Hervey.
Just saying. Dude, just keep
I need
watching.
that guy to go through a table.
Bruh, keep watching.
Okay.
All right. So, any thoughts on Black Blood, though?
I'm okay with it for what it is and what I think it's going to be, which is not much.
Any other thoughts on Paul Lee's commentary about Jason Hervey?
He's understandably pissed that he's lost time to this little person.
You know how they say Paul Lee, if his lips are moving, he's lying?
Mm-hmm. I feel like he was telling a lot of truths.
Right. You know how they say a broken clock is right twice a day?
Just because you don't like what you're hearing don't mean it's not true.
I say that all the time with things in life. Like, just because you don't like the person and they say something that's true doesn't make it not true. It just means that they were right on this occasion. And right here, Paulie's right. So we keep moving. There's a video clip of Muta and Sting. We get some more commercials. I didn't make note if there's a relief commercial in here again. I'm sure there was. And then we're going to get to another there you go, another relief commercial. And then we're going to get to now, Doc, another did we get the bull drop in or did we get the video package of the Desperados?
Ugh.
No, that's right. We got the bull drop in because here it is. So here's the bull drop in commercials. It just hit me. The Desperados thing is because Dusty with the whole cowboy thing, but
there you go. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get to this nonsense.
So the bull drops in segment is going down. This week it's going to be Arn Anderson out there. So they do a little bit of bullshit in the beginning. Jason Hervey looking like a little fella again. They do some talking. And now let me fast forward to Arn coming out, after all the music plays and whatnot. So let's see. Shit, I went too far. Were you about to say something before I play it, or are you waiting for me to play the audio?
Well, I'll just say this going into it. This is going to be a different bull drop in than the first two we've seen. And far less bullshit.
Far less gaga.
Yes.
Let's go to it now. Dusty, Hervey, and Arn.
Double A, let me just lay this on. That was a tremendous confrontation between Bobby Eaton and yourself. But once again, I seen were you just playing the role of enforcer? I mean, you kind of taking care of business for the nature boy Ric Flair?
Bobby Eaton, as you well know, has got a ton of ability and a ton of guts, and he just proved it in front of the entire world. My hat's off to him. But Dusty, let's don't stand up here, you and I, and pass compliments. We know what happened between each other. The respect I have for you came through a lot of my blood. But let's don't stand out here and pretend what happened the last half of the 80s didn't happen between us. So let's talk issues.
Okay, let's talk issues. The main issue here is if you got the opportunity to be world's heavyweight wrestling champion, no matter who it is, would you take that opportunity?
I've been called the enforcer. A lot of people went ... Unselfish. A lot of other people went ... Idiot. Sacrifice yourself for the good of everybody. What I always said to them was, I'm a money maker. I'm an underwriter of a lot of people's success. Fine, well and good. But I know what you're all about. in asking that question. You're the master heads game player of them all. So before I attack the World Heavyweight Championship, let me just say to you and this chopped off Midnight Cowboy that this is over.
Are you chopped off, Midnight Cowboy? Whoa!
Okay, do you want to talk about Arn before we continue with the Paul Lee portion of it?
I think we should.
Oh my God, he's pass the collection plate around.
What do you say other than that's how it's done? I mean, we haven't forgotten anything that happened years ago. He went out there and got Bobby Eaton over, himself over, Dusty over, talked some shit about some folks, and said, I'm out of here.
Less is more.
Depends on what the less is.
In wrestling, it's usually more.
Didn't need 15 minutes at the beginning of Raw to get that shit done. He came out there and did the fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool, Bobby Eaton. I'm out.
Arn said, let's get to it.
Dude, he went in on Hervey. He went in on Dusty. God. Just tremendous. And it was all in the serious nature of, y'all may be having a clown show out here, but that ain't me. And before it turns into one, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here.
Arn said, I'm a moneymaker. And then he told Dusty,
I've underwritten a lot of people's success.
I know what you're trying to do here. And let me tell you and this chopped off Midnight Cowboy that this is over.
That one got Dusty.
I guarantee you Hervey was mad at that comment.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know he's one of them people who's like sensitive about his height.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll give Half Pint that. You know, he's a good little fella when it comes to people messing with him. He just rolls with it.
Yeah.
Hervey, I guarantee you, he gets lathered
mad.
in this
He's
shit.
like, I could be Brad Pitt if I was just 6'2".
Bruh.
That's what he's thinking.
All right, I rewound about 10 seconds. Let's continue now. Unless you got something else, listen to the end of it with Paulie.
Okay.
That this is over.
Are you chopped off, Midnight Cowboy? Whoa!
Excuse me, but I think that I have something to say.
What would you like to say to me, Mr. Paul Lee Dangerously?
Isn't this Jason Hervey? Isn't this Jason? You know, I've always wanted to meet you, Mr. TV star, because I'd like to know what the hell you're doing out here.
Oh, yeah, I'll answer. You'd like to know what I'm doing out here? Anything I want.
Oh.
Let me tell you something. How does it feel to be in a situation where you can't do one thing?
Oh, you don't think I can do one thing about it, huh?
Right, Uncle Dusty?
Oh, yeah, you want to get fucking like a monkey out here? Fucking like a monkey? We put voodoo on you, baby. We put voodoo on you. This case is closed, baby. Get off my set.
Get off my set.
Right here, we ain't no bull. We gonna see you next week with the bull drop in. Thank you, baby.
You know what the sad thing is?
Paulie's a babyface?
Harvey could be a wonderful heel if he didn't think he was a babyface.
Jesus Christ, another truth bomb. Boy, I gotta give you credit, man. You dropped the truth bomb about Harper earlier, and now you dropping truth bombs left and right.
I'm feeling truthful today for a while.
That's great. Dude, you nailed it. He thinks he's out there hitting the RVD pose.
Yeah.
And thinks he's something. And it's like, bruh, everybody here wants you to get your ass kicked.
And if we knew that, if we really knew if we thought you were really banging Missy, you wouldn't get out of here tonight.
Ooh, boy, you ain't kidding about that one. He called him Uncle Dusty. He really thinks he's a babyface here.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
That was the best bull drop in yet.
Well, imagine that. Arn Anderson's on it.
Right. Yo, baby, yo, baby, yo. Get behind the beat. Like you got some feet. Like you want to meet. Let white people see everything they came to see.
Don't rap, please.
One.
PN News.
You don't want me to spit some 16 bars on this motherfucker?
You make Silk the Shocker sound like a good rapper.
No. I'm doing PN News. If I was gonna produce fire, you would get burned.
I can't look at this dude now and not think what Harper said.
Well, I was thinking they ought to bill him straight from the chips aisle at the local Walmart.
PN News is taking on Joe Cruz.
Everybody's got something they don't like at all times, and Harper is down on the rap game.
I've lost track of the people who've reached out to me and said, he really does look like a fat woman at Walmart. God. PN News versus Joe Cruz. News is rapping as usual out there. JR keeps plugging. He says, here in WCW, we're going on the road. And PM News is going to be bumping and grinding on the road, according to JR. You tell the people what's terrible here, Doc.
He didn't really hit the ropes all that smoothly.
I don't know if he was really supposed to go into him. And even if he was supposed to go into him, that guy messed up. Because if that guy's supposed to be taking a tackle,
then why would you get so close? Why would you crowd him up?
He's on top of him in the ropes.
Joe Cruz has been around for a while, though, so.
Yeah. It's hard to blame him. There was just some missed call there between the two of them, probably.
This was really quick.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, it's over now, and I rewound it a little bit as we're talking about it. But News is going to the top rope. He hits the broken record and hits a splash as I just want to say, after the pin, 1, 2, 3, he's going to dance with Bill Alfonso in the ring. Watch this.
Why not?
This is... Okay, here it comes. Look, he tells Fonzie, and he starts doing that stupid dance, and Fonzie's dancing. What the fuck? What are we doing here?
I bet Fonzie used to dance like that at the hotel bar.
He got on the stage at the strip club, and he would dance like that next to the strip club.
Fonzie looks like the kind of guy that would be up back in the day that was up for anything. You get him in like, hey, Fonzie, we're going to go ... He'd be like, all right.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Woof.
When are we leaving?
Right. Yeah, what time are we leaving?
I mean, it could be like, we're going to go play putt-putt, and he'd be like, okay. Or it could be like, we're going to go try to find girls' used panties. Okay.
And on that note, we go to commercial and come back, and we go to another video package on the Desperados. Jim Ross and Paulie throw us to that video package. Lots of build up here. It's probably about a minute and a half long. The Desperados, yeah, you could say that, Doc. I'm in total agreement. They ride in on a horse in this old western town of what I would assume is a TV set of sorts. They get off their horses. We see the town sheriff. Then they cut the video as the Desperados walk towards this sheriff. This screams Dusty Rhodes, John Wayne, bull malarkey.
Dude.
This is...
Nothing has wreaked more havoc on the last 50 years of life, 60 years, than this mythology about the American West.
And you were not even talking about John Wayne here when we say that.
The Old West was dusty and dirty and stupid.
And very violent.
Violent and exploitative and just a mess. Let it go.
Boy, we took that manifest. Not we. Well, I guess we are Americans. We took that manifest destiny and we booked our territory. Bruh, no. Let me tell you something. There has never been a more successful, depending on how you look at it, or terrible thing in planet Earth.
Hey,
than
you don't get to bring Harperisms in. You don't get to bump stock without Manifest Destiny.
bro. Bro, my wife. So there was a coyote sighting not far from our house.
Uh-oh.
And my wife, we're riding to the football game last night. And she's like, that's a shame. It's because of all this new development. I said, hold on a second before you get on your high horse about development. I said, here's the thing. You aren't sitting here right now living a decent life if not for that Manifest Destiny development. So before you start talking about all this development encroaching upon the wildlife and the fact that there's coyotes literally a block from where I'm sitting right now, you need to
That's the same broad logic that's like, it's a shame what we're doing to the planet as they throw a plastic bottle in the trash can.
Bro, don't give me and it goes even beyond that. It's so beyond that. Just the wastefulness of everything.
Yeah.
Of the women in my household. And who are the green people.
And if you try to call them on it, they're gonna pull an Arn on you.
Bruh, I've said this a number of times, and I totally agree with you. I am totally, hey man, we got to do what we got to do to preserve the one planet we have. Okay, and I get that it's a very complicated discussion.
Hey, even if you don't believe that we're causing climate change, why would you treat your home like a toilet?
Bro, the one thing Doc and I always say, I tell my wife and mother-in-law this, I'm like, y'all go through more water bottles than a freaking entire city goes through. I just see what goes in the recycle bin. Like, and that's a whole nother discussion. I don't want to go down it, but let me go back to it. This whole Desperados thing is born from John Wayne bullshit.
And it's setting fire to piles of money with production that doesn't need to happen now.
Okay, yeah.
I got to ask you a question as we move over to the Diamond Stud and DDP out for this match. And we're going to call into the crowd here. This feels... I have some questions.
All right. Well, let me play it and we'll talk about it as it's playing.
When DDP is looking in the crowd, he says, will you look at all these pigs here?
Yeah.
That's a little stiff. I also wanted to know, what do you think is in DDP's fanny pack?
Pills.
Pills, okay.
More pills.
What about... Are there pills on top of that, or what about a lighter? Maybe is there a lighter?
A lighter.
Yeah.
No rubbers.
No, we don't need those. Come on.
No, I'm joking. I'm not trying to say that's not my way of saying
what about
DDP's
some
got a million
cigarettes?
kids. Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Definitely things you smoke. Not saying DDP was a weak guy.
What's the chance that there's like 2 dice in there?
If it was a brother, I'd say there'd be some dice in there, but
okay.
I don't know. Maybe some cards.
Racist,
White people
whatever.
play cards, right?
Yeah.
Well, black people play cards too, because good Lord, the spades table when I go by my wife.
I love that game. That's my favorite game. Playing some spades.
Yeah.
I'll go Nillo on your ass.
Okay. What else? What do you think's in the fanny pack before we go to this?
I think it's pills and maybe some breath mints.
Yeah. Maybe some gum.
Some gum.
But speaking of fanny packs,
might be for him. At this point, might be a hair tie.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Ponytail it up.
Yeah. It's actually a small fanny pack. I've seen some Dusty Wolf when I was Mud Show Indian it up. That dude had the biggest fanny pack I've ever seen in my life. I mean, one of my partners one time go, "God damn, Dusty, what you got? Your whole gimmick in there?" Like his boots and everything, his trunks. He had so much stuff.
We're gonna call in not one, but 2 girls from the audience. And I use the word girls here because I'm not sure what we're dealing with. I want to be careful.
Yeah, they look young. So they search for some women to strip down Diamond Stud. DDP's on the mic. They find 2 ladies with enough Aquanet and hairspray in their hair to light up the freaking, I mean, they fried the ozone layer in the 80s by themselves. Look at that.
Yeah.
So they come in and
I feel
he's
like
talking
we
to them.
need to be careful here. I don't know. How old do you think they are?
I don't know if they're legal, man.
I know.
It's hard to tell. I guess they're supposed to be twins because they're talking at the same time when DDP asks them questions. But I don't know,
DDP's
dude.
dirty too. He's like,
Why
we
do you say
got a live one here. Grabbed her by the way he grabbed her by the back of the head and moved her closer to the mic. I bet that's not his first time doing that.
Oh, come on. They're like supposed to be the Doublemint twins or something. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that's a good callback. But DDP's extra dirty in this. Just like, hey, look at it. He's like looking over at Scott like, we got something here.
Hold on. I should have. Here's the audio.
All right. Are you ready to handle the hunk? That's all I want to know. First thing, I got a question for you. What's your name? What was that, stereo? Do that again for me. Oh, brother. So let me ask you this. Are you sisters?
Yes, we're twins.
Do you do everything together?
Yes.
Oh, brother. We got a live one here. Are you ready to handle the hunk?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Good God. Crank up the music and take a...
So they're definitely plants, which tells me that they should have been of age.
No.
No, listen to what I said. I didn't say they were. I said should have
somebody
been.
would have had the good taste and judgment to verify that. But back
That's why I said should have been.
Should have been, but...
Yeah. Doesn't mean are, just means should have been.
That was the first time good God was used correctly.
They can't get the pants off, which is hilarious.
Bet they could later that night.
You just said we don't know if they're legal. Come on.
I know, but I'm afraid of what has happened.
Yeah.
She's only 17.
Oh God, that song.
How did that song get made?
Dude, you couldn't put that on the air today.
You shouldn't have put it on the air then.
I'm not saying you should have. I'm just saying.
Unless he's 17 singing it, get the fuck out of here. He was 28 and all furry and hairy and singing about 17. He should have gone straight to jail. Do not pass go.
Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me.
Right, you
that
come
was
to Daddy's
the lyrics.
house, you're getting shot.
That was the lyrics in this.
I'm well aware.
Well, Doc, after that whole... God, this would have been good for Harper to have for that one. Holy shit. Because you're right, man. DDP grabs her head and freaking shoves it towards the mic.
Get in there.
Yeah. Diamond Stud wins.
And those girls had the most annoying, blonde, bimbo,
voice.
I don't care how old they are, voices. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts from that as Diamond Stud wins?
Well, Scott all continues. Razor continues to impress, in spite of the lewd filth act that goes on prior to the match. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think to use your less is more, maybe we should just move on.
I think so. So we move on after commercial. And when we come back out of commercial, it's supposed to be Wyndham and One Man Gang versus Dusty Rhodes and Brian Pillman, and it is. But it's we come out of commercial and they're already brawling.
Yeah.
There's someone else out there that's dressed like a rat this week that comes out. And I say someone else because Pillman was the rat the previous 2 weeks, and now he's in the ring wrestling, so we know it's not Pillman.
That rat looks like a damn donkey face or something.
Yeah, it does look weird. There's literally about a minute and a half when this thing kicks off and this is going on out there. Paul Lee says, "Who's this rat?"
Do we find out?
I don't think so. Pillman wins when he hits a crossbody on Wyndham. I mean, it took a minute. And
Yeah,
then,
I thought it was great though when Wyndham got up and DDT'd him again.
right, like he caught him. Like, he was like, "Oh, you got me. I didn't get up out of it. You caught me
So
slipping."
Pillman gets some over, but Wyndham doesn't like die on it.
Yeah.
And Dustin looks good.
Yeah, because Dustin clears the ring.
Yeah, this was good.
Yeah,
Remember, we're going to the Clash and we're trying to go hot, so I like it.
Yeah, I got no complaints about this. This is fine. Matter of fact, I'm glad Elegante ain't out there right now. Jesus,
Sure,
thank God
they've realized it. Even dumbass Hurd has realized we need to limit his minutes.
And that's how we go off air. Is there's a Brute by Fabergé ad that plays. If that's not a smell of the 80s and 90s, I don't know what is. So on that particular note, we need to rate it and hand out some Rolexes.
Yeah, buddy.
Before we do so, like I said, if you want to listen to our Clash review, which Harper is supposed to be at, become a patron at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. It is a great way to support this show. You get tons of extra content. I mean, there's 300 plus episodes available and counting. There's all the video reviews that we do. And as we watch this, we don't do watch alongs, but as I play the video while we discuss it. So that's available.
Did you hear him last week?
Harper?
Yeah, I don't know if this was on air or after we quit. When Harper, next week we're doing the Clash, and he said something like, "Okay, yeah, remind me."
Yeah.
Have you reminded him yet?
It's too far out. Let's break kayfabe here for a second.
When are you gonna? When do you time this so that it's close enough to the recording, but it's far enough back that he could actually watch it?
I think it's something I'll have to do twice, Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And the reason I say twice is because Saturday is a little too early. Sunday is not really early, but he'll be watching Saints football. Well, Saints don't play, but he'll be watching NFL. So I gotta kind of time it around there.
Okay.
And then hope that he does it.
We don't have time to prep for the actual show because we're in constant conversation about how to take care of the third man in the booth.
Bro, they have no idea. The amount.
He's our third child.
The amount of dude, it kills me because he's got all this free time, and I'm jealous sometimes.
Here's the other thing: we were talking about free time, and he doesn't understand our lack thereof of free time. But the other thing is that because he doesn't have kids and we do, even if we didn't have anything to do, we've been fundamentally our DNA's been altered by having kids and a family. Yeah. And so we can't go back to that time where it was just, I got shit all to do on a Saturday. We have this now inherent need to be productive on some level and would ruin a great Saturday just sitting around watching old movies, guy movies, because we can't.
There's also something too when you're a homeowner, it's like you always got to do something.
And so the closest that we get to the old days is college football Saturday and NFL Sunday.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Because I get so tonight the Mavericks are playing. And I'm a huge NBA fan and I'm a huge Mavericks fan. And it's a Friday night. So I guarantee you I will watch most of the game, but something will occur where I don't see the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
But if we're talking about the Cowboy game, any deviation for me watching it means we're en route to the hospital.
Bro, I know something that popped me a while back. It was a Sunday and it was Cowboy Sunday. Literally, as soon as the game starts, the wife and mother-in-law start doing something, and the kids are now in your face. It's kicking off, and you're like, I don't know if she could have timed that any worse.
Oh, it happens every week.
I know. This was a few years ago when I first heard
I
this.
start planning, and we're on a bye week this week, so we're going to get healthy and take on the Packers. But I start planning what I need to do to be in front of the TV uninterrupted on Sunday. I start that preparation really on Thursday night with wrestling to watch, because we're off on Fridays. And then Friday is certainly a get things done. And I'm planning for days to do that. And they're lining up to kick off, and I hear a vacuum cleaner start up.
Bro, let me tell you, I'm up on Saturday morning and Sunday morning at the crack of dawn doing stuff in the house just so that if I'm home all day on a Saturday, or Sunday, generally I'm home. It's the one day that I know, okay, I can actually sit down and relax. That's the only day. But I am up at the crack of dawn doing stuff that needs to be done just so that I can sit down and actually have what I call off time. I'm going to call it an off day.
A respite from the world trying to get at you.
Like, yeah, and I'll have like friends or the wife sometime. Hey, Sunday, can we? No, if I don't sit down, and it's not even just during football season. If I don't sit down and halfway try to relax for that day or a portion, it's not even a whole day, but a portion of it. No, I don't want to make no plans because I will turn into just like mush brain and be in the fog if I can't just you know what it is? It's called vegetating and decompressing. If I don't get that, you ain't getting nothing. I'm dead. If I don't have that on Sunday, the whole week I'm fried.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
So I'm with you, man.
What are we going? Clash coming up. Go home show. What are we giving this episode?
Right. So tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. Become a patron. Get the Clash. All that stuff. So, Doc, it was an hour. These hour shows based on the blitzkrieg we deal with.
Tremendous.
Is something else. I like high and tight episodes like this. Just, Austin gets there and does his thing, wins real quick. The promo package was from Paul Lee with the Clash stuff. I like that. It's a nice little, quick hitting thing. Didn't take too long. We got Arn and Bobby, even though the finish was, whatever. Johnny B. Bad segment was, to me, fine. The only thing I didn't like was the Black Bud match. And to be honest with you, Paul Lee with the Jason Hervey comments and Missy comments made that entertaining. Bull drop in, Arn was great. Everything was fine here. The Desperados thing was the dumbest thing. It was stupid. It got us on a discussion of Manifest Destiny. This is an A+. I'm going to let the Desperados thing slide. It's an A+. I got to give it A+. What about you?
You're close. I'm going to give it an A.
Okay. So who are you giving your Rolex to then?
Right, there ain't no question. It's Arn.
I struggle with this, and I'm going to tell you why.
Because you want to give it to Paul Lee again.
Oh, my God, I want to give it to Paul. I want to give it to Heyman. Oh, you go to high school with him? Oh, bro, come on, bro. Yeah, I want to give it to Heyman, but I got to give it to Arn. But Paul Lee's out there just shooting. Arn gets it. Heyman gets a honorable mention.
That's fair.
But Arn gets it. And the reverse goes to the Desperados. I'm so tired of Western bullshit, cowboy bullshit.
See, it ain't just me. It's boring, too.
And it ain't just, and again, I need to stress, I ain't no John Wayne fan, but it ain't just John Wayne. It's that whole generation.
He's the embodiment of the movement, but it's the whole thing that deserves to get the votes.
It's just...
The truth is, most of your cowboys were black anyway. How does that treat you?
Somebody asked me if I saw that movie Django Unchained one time. I ain't never seen it.
It's pretty stiff, dude.
Well, I ain't seen it because it was a Western type gimmick.
I saw it, and like Leo DiCaprio says the N word a bunch. And I've read like Jamie Foxx was like he didn't want to do it, and I told him you got to do it.
Well, you
It's kind of
sound
like
that.
you and Ice. It's kind of like you and Iceman.
Well, it's kind of like when Austin said it. He had to say it in Any Given Sunday.
We're not going to talk about that. That wasn't Any Given Sunday. It was The Longest Yard.
That's what I meant. The Young's Longest Yard. I mean, look. According to what he said, he was like, he didn't want to say it, but he said it.
Who does?
And,
Who wants to say it?
And man, he said it. The way Austin said it in that movie. It was stiff. Oof.
Speaking of stiff. Can I get some relief?
My daughter told my wife last night on the way home. I don't know what they were talking about. I was kind of tuning half of it out. I was mad at my daughter for another reason. But my daughter says to my wife, they were talking about the N-word, the kids and her. And my daughter says, I ain't never heard you say it. And she was like, I don't like saying it. The funny part is she said it about something like a week prior. She was talking about something and she said it. She didn't say it to me. She said it telling me a story. I was like, I don't know the last time I heard you say that.
Well, I don't sit around and count the last time I heard it or the last time I heard somebody say it, so I don't understand. But
Or you said something one day to me at work. You said, imagine if you had a counter on your head. You said, imagine if old white dudes had a counter on their head of how many times they had said it. And the last
that'd be
time,
tremendous.
Yeah, I came unglued. Not only how many, but the last time.
Yeah, because everybody had mistakes in the past where we used language we shouldn't have grown up. But, we know better now.
Oh God, I chuckled at that one.
You know how they have like the cyborg, like the RoboCop, where you see he's analyzing the scene?
Yes.
But you're analyzing the racist. I feel like that would be a Dave skit or something.
I feel like it should. Like a really good comedian out there should have a bit on that, because that
maybe I should go into comedy. You would be my biggest fan because apparently I make you laugh a lot.
Every now and then you stumble upon some stuff.
I'm
like
pretty
I said
funny,
earlier,
I'm pretty clever.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Pretty clever over here.
Yeah. All right, so before we get out of here,
I want to wish you well today as we navigate these terrible kill storms that are on the way. Hopefully we're around to do the Clash. That's maybe we don't make it today.
Nah, we'll make it. They're coming though.
This could be it for all of us. Maybe it's our time.
I thought it would already be doing it out there, but it's not.
Yeah, I got to go run some errands out into the community, and then get back home and well, let's not be cute. I'm gonna take a nap.
Your daytime naps kill me. All right. Well, before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn, the northern version of BTT, slightly classier, definitely more professional, still fun nonetheless. They support us. Please support them. Thanks, Joe and Quinn, for all your plugs. Please give them a listen if you support us. And they're independents just like we are. And check out the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV. They handle the ECW show on our Patreon feed, but they also do a show on the career of
I might
Stone
need to take
Cold
that
Steve
over from
Austin.
them,
ECW?
Yeah,
maybe they wanted you to do a show with them.
They did? Why didn't they reach out and ask me?
You said you didn't have time.
Well, that's probably true, in all honesty. I mean, you know how I live.
It kills me.
I can't just sit around and do podcasts all the time. That'd be great.
We just literally had a 5-minute sidebar discussion on the Blitzkrieg on our time. Once again, we had a 5-minute discussion on that, and then you now want to jump in. By the way, they are presently in November, going into December of 1995 right now.
Oh, that's a good time, too. Maybe I need to hop in.
They recorded probably too late for you. I think when they do it, but I'll ask them.
What
it's
time
past your bedtime. It's probably like 10 o'clock or something when they record them.
You make it sound like I'm 80 years old. I was up till midnight last night.
Bruh, I didn't get home until probably 11:30 from the high school football game.
When's the last time you were out that late?
The trip part about it is like it doesn't take long to get home. It's just by the time the bus brings them back to the school, that's what you see what I'm saying? That's what you're waiting on.
Oh, I'm aware.
So yeah,
and then we get done with soccer games, and the coach wants to turn into Vince Lombardi after the game, talking to him. I'm like, and I always ask him, what did they say? What did he tell y'all? Oh, he said some stuff. Oh, okay, I get it. You listen to him like you listen to me. I appreciate that. It's not just me then.
I didn't get to bed until probably close to 2 and was up at 6.
There you go, man. We're the working man. So on that note, let's work our way on out of here.
All right, Doc. Hit the tagline since Harper is not here, and we will roll out this sucker.
Book it, bitch.